A fortnight after the controversial Nigerian businessman and drug-dealing suspect was deported to his home country, Nigeria, the story seems to have just begun. Chinedu had been in the country for close to 15 years, shuttling his residence between Nairobi and Lagos. And until 2 weeks ago, no one seems to have been bothered by his presence, save for his divorced wife, Joyce Akinyi.
He doesn't have any ownership of them, with no papers. He was in court, this drug dealer. Go back to Pakistan, where you are wanted for drug dealing.
The sensational allegations were made at the height of the controversial marriage and property dispute. No one seemed to be listening. A divorce filed by Joyce at that time was dismissed by many as an attempt to swindle the Nigerian of his multi-million empire. The Immigration Department too was slow to act on a request for deportation. In 2010, Joyce Akinyi, through her lawyer Anthony Oluoch, attempted to have Chinedu deported in the same way as the controversial Jamaican Muslim preacher Sheikh Al-Faisal, who was deported on grounds of being a threat to national security. Sheikh Al-Faisal and Anthony Chinedu are not the first controversial foreigners in the country to be associated with illegal activities. Neither are they the only ones who have roamed the land unhindered, even as word on the street was that they were a danger to national security. The police and other government agencies have been accused of aiding and abetting their activities. Their two brothers too were deported. A public outcry saw them bundled out of the country at government expense.
Even Magarian and Sagarian went. You will go.
Chinedu's deportation order, however, seems to have backfired. This was a hurried attempt to close his cases, which ranged from property dispute to drug-related charges. The manner in which it was done leaves a lot to be desired, and observers are now hinting at attempted cover-ups by some of Chinedu's accomplices. But not even the distance can silence the man.
Kawa watoto wananipenda ama bibi ananipenda watarudi Nigeria siku wanataka. Kawa wananipenda watatu huko lakini kile destaki kuishi kwa nchi haina law, haina rule.
Observers also point to an irregular execution of the deportation order that has resulted to the detention of 7 Kenyans, including immigration and security officials. A new law enacted in 2011 allows the cabinet secretary in charge of internal affairs to deport suspects without necessarily obtaining a court order. Both the deportation of Chinedu and that of the controversial Atur brothers saw the government charter flights, and while the latter ended up well, the fate of the 7 Kenyans remain a boardroom subject.
This allows us to continue with the discussions between the countries involved to get there.
Chinedu is demanding compensation for the property left behind that is conservatively valued at tens of millions. He also says the 7 Kenyans held at a hotel in Lagos will only come home when he is sure his property will be given back to him, and claims he is the only one who can negotiate with the Kenyan government. The last time he was deported under an alias, he sneaked back into the country through the Busia border. This was one bold move by the government, but it's turning out to be a costly affair financially and diplomatically. It may now appear that the man the state wanted to get rid of has the government on the receiving end. How this is resolved will determine the future diplomatic relations between the two countries. Ken Mijungu, NTV.